Hey everybody, Hernke here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, actress Tasha Tacosa. Tasha?
Hi.
Hey, thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. So, going into your career,
Mm-hmm.
how did you get started in this crazy industry of ours? What inspired you? Are there any actors, actresses, movies that got you inspired to get into acting?
When I was little, actually, it's the little girl thing. I saw Annie when I was really little. I was 5 years old, and I was enthralled about a play. I was like, oh, what is this? Like, it wasn't like TV. It wasn't like cartoons, and I was watching it, and like every time the curtain went down, I was like, what's happening next? Like, every parent in the audience was like, kill your child. But to me, I was like, this is the greatest moment of my existence to know this existed. So from there, I was like, that's the world. So at 5, I started singing and acting and thinking like that was what was. I didn't even equate like film to theater at that point in time. I just kind of was like, this is what's happening. This is my life. This is who I am. I'm 5 and literally about to move out of the house because I had to go make it on Broadway. But then from there, I had to get more practical at 8. And I started doing summer stock theater for a Shakespeare Guild. And I was one of 3 children ever cast. Mm-hmm. And I went to this audition and I told my mom, and my mom doesn't know anything about like acting or film or anything. She just thought it was funny that her kid was like, I need to go get a job. I need to get in there before I've grown out of like the possibility of making it. So she was like, called the theater, was like, hey, can my daughter audition? It was Midsummer's Night's Dream. So they're like, yeah, we have Fairy. She was like, she's 8. And they were like, no, she can't. So I came in, I read Puck, my favorite character ever in Shakespeare, and I didn't even really know what it meant, but I was like serious. I was like ready. I was like, is this a broad character? Like, imagine me 8 and like high-pitched voice. Like, is this a broad character? He seems like a wild guy. And the director is like dying. And he's like, yeah, like just go for it. And the room echoed. I loved it because I could hear my voice like loud and whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, yeah, if these shadows have offended. And I went to the whole thing, not knowing really half of what I was saying. And then I ended and I was like, he was like, oh my God. And then he was like, well, do you have a song? And then I sang a song, and I sang, like, New York, New York. I said, I just have to warn you, I have a very powerful voice. And he was like, okay, I'm prepared. And I, like, blasted it out, and it was my moment, and, like, the end of the short of it, the long of the short of it, is I ended up getting cast. And that was my first professional job.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
that
started there.
That's how I started, too, was it on stage, and for when I did Harvey the play.
What is Harvey the play?
It's based off, well, I think the movie was based off the play, but it's about a guy that has an imaginary rabbit as his friend. And Jimmy Stewart played Elwood P. Dowd, and then he has this imaginary rabbit, and his family's trying to put him in this psychiatric ward. Oh. But, yeah, his rabbit's name is Harvey.
I love that. I have to see this played.
So I played Elwood P. Dowd, and that's when you're saying that about stage. It's how I got started too. Mm-hmm. Was in high school. That's awesome. That's a very good way to get started. It
was exciting, and it was like it was the first time which I actually saw what I was doing. Granted, I'm 8, but I'm in summer stock, and I ended up taking all these classes with all these adults, and I was like, oh, this is it. I can do this.
Did you do any more plays after that?
Yeah.
As well?
Yeah, I continued doing Shakespeare. I did a long run of Shakespeare. And then I would do whatever I could because I was making my way to New York. So I did tons of theater, classical theater. I did a lot of experimental theater. When I went to college, I did tons of performance because I grew up in the South. So we didn't really have television there, so I did whatever play I could do. Mm-hmm. If it was a kid's play, if it was a comedy play, if it was, anything that I could do that they would cast me in being a kid, I was there.
Wow. That's a lot.
I was motivated. Like, I came home when I was like, during the 8 time, and they'd taken a resume class with the Shakespeare Guild. Mm-hmm. They'll teach classes to actors, and I was like, Mom, show me the typewriter. I need a resume.
Well, after all the play stuff, what brought you into the film side of things?
Well, as I grew up, I obviously watched more television. I started to see it. I was still very dedicated to theater, and actually coming to LA was kind of a fluke. I had never expected to go here. I wanted to be on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
That was my big deal. That was what I was training for. But in an odd moment, I wanted to get an agent because I was like, that's what they do. So I got one of 2 agents in Virginia at the time, and I walked in. And there, like, the agents do cast you for theater because it pays back east. So I walked in, and he was like, hey, we don't have one of you right here. Because there wasn't a lot of diversity. And he was like, do you want to audition for a kids' television show? And I was like, yes, I do. So I went and I auditioned for the guys who produced Sesame Street. It was another kids show. It wasn't Sesame Street, but it was another kids show. And I went in and I was like, I'm ready. Always
got to be at the ready. Well, did you end up booking that?
Yeah, I did.
You did? That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I loved it too. And it was like, I've had like glimpses of exciting, weird moments in my career. So by this time I was 15. So I was a little bit more, ready to get out in the world. But yeah, no, it was my first job. I worked on a real set, director, rehearsals, for TV, learning how to work on camera. It was cool. And I loved my character because I was playing the smartest, most dedicated character in the cast. I was fabulous. I was fabulous at 15. But it was great. It was a series that ran for 2 years. I felt really lucky.
What's the name of it?
It's Minds on Science. You'll never be able to find it.
Really? Not even on YouTube?
I would love it. If you find it, send it to me. If you find it, send it to me. It's cool. It was like Mr. Wizard's World meets one of the 1,000 teen shows that are sitcom-y.
Okay.
But it was more science-based. So like I learned how to use lasers. I learned about heat movement or whatever, which obviously I kept that information. Just a lot of experiments. We had it was fun. It was like a sitcom learning science.
So like Bill Nye the Science Guy. With a little more teen stuff thrown in there.
Yeah, with a little more teen angst.
That's so cool. Did you have any other fun experiences throughout your career? Like, you've been out here for a while. You've worked on a lot of independent films. I also want to hear about your experience working with Rachel Riley on the Giantess movies and all about that. So can you go into a little bit about some highlights on the projects you worked on? Okay,
well, I think one of the funnest highlights is I actually didn't know what the independent world was because honestly I came from theater. I accidentally came to California and stayed. But my first independent film is for Jeff Leroy, who is a filmmaker I love working with. He's so creative, so talented with all crazy miniatures and special effects. So I answered an ad backstage. Like everybody still uses Backstage, and it was for some sort of sci-fi movie, but it wasn't for Jeff. It was for this guy named John Lachago, and I went in and I auditioned for him, and I, obviously was like, I killed it. I'm going to get this independent movie. Not that I really knew what it was, but I was like, I was awesome, and my outfit was cute. And I went in, and I didn't get the part, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll get the next one. So I get a call a couple months later from Jeff Leroy, and he was like, hey, you auditioned for this guy named John Lachago, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, you didn't get that part. And I was like, obviously.
Right.
He was like, but I have a movie, and he passed me your audition tape, and I want to see if you're interested in doing it. And it's the lead, and whatever. So even though I don't know what this is the world of independent films. So, I mean, not the world of movie. It's the dream of anybody acting that you want a director to call you and say that. And I was like, okay. And he was like, you want to come read for me? And I was like, okay. So 2 thoughts were going in. Oh my God, this is the greatest day of my life. And then the other thought is, oh my God, this is probably porn. Yeah. So I drive out to the valley. I don't even know where I'm going. I pull up, and halfway there, I'm going deeper and deeper and deeper into the valley, and I'm like, legit, I'm auditioning for a porno. I'm gonna get the lead of a porno.
Yeah, because it's Encino, right? Well, you weren't in Encino, but Encino is the capital of all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's in the valley.
And I was headed that way, and I did never seen the streets, and I was like, okay, just breathe. You're a gymnast. You can handle yourself. So I get to it, and I'm pulling up to the house. Now, even though I had never been in indie film, I watched a lot of it. I always have loved it. I love the idea of taking a vision and just doing it with nobody's permission. So I've watched tons of it. As I pull up to the house where I'm auditioning and obviously going to become the next porn star of the world, I recognize the mansion. And this, like, I'm like, this is the best day of my life. Because it had been in a, like, 10 indie horror films. So I was like, I'm not.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I was like, I was so super psyched, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm not going to do porn, and maybe this is the legit thing. So I meet him, he's like, okay, I called him, and he was like, okay, I'll come out, and he takes me to his studio in the back, and it's like this little weird indie studio with like a spaceship console and all this weird stuff. That looked weird to me in real life, but on camera, it's actually really cool. And we start reading. I read for him twice, and he's like, great, you want this lead role? We start shooting next week, and I'm like, oh, this is the best day of my life. So it's on the best day, I'm not going to be a porn star. So that was super fun, and but working for him actually opened my eyes to all of the independent industry and what it's like, and because it's not like mainstream, it's different, but it's kind of really fun. And this part 2 of this is the first day I went to shoot with him. I was like, he was like, you're gonna come with your lead actor, and I was like, sweet. So it's an actor named Ford Austin. So we get in the car and we drive up to Soledad Canyon, which, you know, a lot of, if you've seen some stuff with it look like a planet in films, it might be this canyon. And we start climbing in. Again, I don't know anything about indie. There's not a huge crew there. I don't know how indie directors shoot. And I'm like, part 2, okay, I'm not going to be in porno. I'm getting killed today. Like, this is like what I'm thinking. I watched like so much murder mystery, and as we're going deeper and deeper in the canyon, me with these 2 men and these weird toys, I was like, legit, I'm dying. Like, this is the end of my life, and I'm going to be that girl on those true Hollywood stories. But the good news is after I started working for a while, I didn't know what was going on. Jeff set up all these weirdo toys behind me, and my co-star luckily helped me a lot forward. He was like, hey, so what do you think of your spaceship? And I was like, my what? And he was like, your spaceship. It's behind you. It was this big. And I was like, this is where I die. And he's like, no, stand there. Let me take a picture. So he took a picture and showed it to me, and it was like a forced perspective shot.
Right.
So the spaceship looked huge, and I looked little, and I was like, and that moment kind of made it all click. Like, wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm in a different world here, and it's kind of very cool.
Yeah, it's movie magic. You know, that's how Lucas and Spielberg did all that stuff too. So they learned from the best, and that's so cool. Yeah, I would love to see that.
It changed my perspective. The other thing is Ford gave me advice, and he was like, just let go. Just go for it. Yeah. Don't judge it. Just do it. Yeah, and then I started having a lot of fun doing independence.
Awesome. What was it like working with Rachel she's your co-star in the Giantess movie, right?
Rachel is my professional frenemy. I've been working with Rachel for years. It's great. No, I love Rachel. She's great to work with because, to skip ahead, we do a lot of physical work together, and every project we've done except our first one, because we never met on it, which is the movie I was talking about, Rat Scratch Fever. She worked a totally different day. But then we went on the Giantess set, and it's crazy. We've done a couple of films together, but we're always kind of like in this weird frenemy zone as characters, not as people. We totally get along. But I love working with her because one of the things that I love about Rachel, she comes from a classical background too, and she knows how to move on set. We fight a lot. We do a lot of combat. So we can literally get together and be like, hey, if I push you, will you fall back? And then we'll do this, and then roll over. And for Giantess is such a physical, big film. We're on legitimate miniature sets. Same director, Jeff Leroy. And we're really breaking down walls, and we're really pretending to shoot each other, but I'm picking up tanks in the film, and they're not like, I mean they are real tanks. No, but they're toys, but they're this big. Mm-hmm. And so when I'm falling over, like, it's acting, but I'm also like, oh my God, this is heavy. So it's great. It's been an adventure for both of us, because I think it's something neither one of us ever thought, like, our vision of how the career would go.
Right.
Did not include being, 50 to 150 feet tall on a miniature set, crushing things and beating the crap out of each other. But through the years, because we've been working together for a couple of years, I think it's really fun. She's fun to work with. She's, we can rip off each other. So we've had a really good time, and I'm so glad that she was cast my co-star as we've been doing these films for a while, mm-hmm. because they're not as easy as they look. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, you're just playing around. I'm like, actually, there's so much technical stuff involved that it's great to work with somebody who mm-hmm. gets it and can do it. So.
Right on. Where can people see the movie?
Well, the first one is online. I believe it's on Amazon. If it's not, then you can always Instagram me and I can direct you to where it's going. Because, it's This Girl's Life. That's my Instagram. So I will always answer. Or we also have a Giantess Instagram. So the first one, I believe it's on Amazon. If it's not, I'll find out where it is. Plus, we will be selling hard copies. And then we're doing a second one, which I'm super excited about. We've expanded the cast of, like, badass chicks. And Rachel and I are still kind of saving the world and being fabulous and kind of being crazy. But we've added Great 2 Nemesis. Christine Nguyen was in our first one. She played the Metaluna twins. Rachel and I killed her sister, so she is single twin and the queen of the universe. And to create revenge on us, she makes a huge giant fembot, which is this awesome chick, one of my friends, Lada, like Russian model, kind of like, She comes in and, Rachel and I have this huge battle with her while we're trying to find our place in the world, because we did so many bad things the first time we were giant, but now we're trying to come back and save the world, kind of, and, live our lives as normal as we can at 150 feet tall.
Does that start filming soon?
We've been filming it.
Oh, okay. Actually, it's still ongoing.
Rachel and I just finished the final scenes in December.
Okay.
So there's a final edit going on. But also right now, until our film comes out, when we're looking at March, again, you can Instagram me, always ask me. I do get back to everybody. And it's Giantess Attack. But right now we do, which is exciting, we have our documentary that Jason Cartalian, another filmmaker, came out and shot while we were shooting our biggest day on set. And that's called Giant Women Micro Budget. And that's been going everywhere in the film festival, so people can get a taste of what we're doing and not being like, oh, it's this weirdo thing. They're like, they can actually see how we do it, like the Power Rangers kind of method that we do. And I'm excited because it's premiering in LA on the 16th, March 16th.
Oh, that's coming up.
At the First Planets Film Festival.
I've been seeing that all over Facebook.
Oh, yeah. And we're excited because I'm excited. Because I really want people to come and see how this is created. And I think that sometimes people have all these like ideas of how independent films are created and what they missed or what they did wrong. And I mean, I'm an opinionaire just like everybody else, but sometimes you have to take a step back and really look at what it is, because when you're dealing with an independent, you're dealing with less money, you're dealing with less time, you're dealing with more personalities, you're dealing with, hey, I don't have the newest camera, but I have a couple flares, a couple lights, and a good angle. Let's make this happen and fix it in post. And so I would really like people to see how we actually do this, and it's not all green screen, and our miniatures, and give some love to our director who's crazy and creative and fabulous all the same time, and how he actually makes all of this come together. Plus, my ladies that I'm working with, I want them to get appreciation, and me too, just because we're out there, we're doing something fun and really different, and it's just cool to let people see how we're actually making the movie.
I would love to see it.
Well, the First Planets Film Festival's in NoHo.
Oh, really? Which theater is it at?
It's at the Limley.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
right down the street.
Right over there.
Yeah.
On the 16th, what day is that?
And it is on a Saturday. It's at 5:30.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I'll be sure to stalk you. And for you out there, it's all over the Instagram. We also have a Facebook page, Giantess Tacosa, that talks about this new film, The Metro Fembot. We will have a site coming up very soon that will be Giantess Attack. So many ways to keep in touch with us.
Absolutely. I'll put all those links in the description below, too, so people can go check it out.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Do you have any other projects coming up besides that one that is on the horizon?
I just had a project that screened at Festival, which was How We Met, and I forgot. Impact Event, which is a fun sci-fi film that was shot in Fresno at a haunted house site, which is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed shooting it. I love for people to check it out. We shot in an actual real haunted house, not ghost haunted, but
like Halloween haunted house.
Halloween haunted house. It was coolest sets I've ever worked on. Worked with so many people I love to work with. So that's directed by Brian Barsigula. I suggest everybody check it out. It's a really fun movie. I just did another crazy film with a director called, oh no, he's going to kill me, Blake Fitzpatrick. Sorry, Blake. And it's crazy cool. He took a kind of another take on trauma filmmaking, and it's just this weird space world where the government takes over too much of the world and people are fighting back and there's rebellions and stuff. It's a really, really interesting script. I really like the script. I love his writing. And it's a very interesting take on how to make an indie film. And I am coming on to work with him again on another project, which I think I can't say what it is, but we're talking about working on another project. And you know, I have a film coming out this summer. I don't know if you know this.
Mm-hmm.
I played Amy Winehouse. And
you do?
Yeah, I did. It was awesome. Tattoos and everything. I never felt so awesome in my whole life.
Is it like a feature film that's going to go on Netflix or anything like that?
It's a feature film from Claypatcher Records. They are partnered with Orchard, I believe. And it's called The 27 Club. And it's got all of the cool rock stars from the 27 Club. I can't tell the story, but it's horror. It's scary. Wow. And I play Amy Winehouse. So that was a super fun role.
Did you have to watch and listen to a lot of her stuff and get her voice inflections and all that? I did.
I watched tons of videos about her. First off, it was the greatest day of my life next to, not getting killed on Jeff's set. Because I love Amy Winehouse. I love her voice. And it's always been a dream to actually play her. And you never actually think you get, the opportunity to do it. But, yeah, I watched tons of videos. I watched a lot of her music videos, any interview that I could see where she was just being candid. Mm-hmm. So it was fun. It was really fun.
I want to see it now.
Yeah.
I would love to see it. Because I like watching biopics and just how a person plays somebody that was in real life and see how they replicate their mannerisms, and it's fun because it's fun work as an actor to try to emulate that as well. And then when you see it come to fruition on screen and people actually start believing that you are that person, you know that you did your job.
Yeah, and it's exciting too, and it's like somebody who I have so much appreciation and respect for as an artist. And when I was on set shooting that, you get nervous because she's so iconic that everybody's like, oh God, how's this person going to do? But my crew and the rest of my cast was like, oh my God. And that's the best compliment. So,
you were making magic.
Yeah, I loved it. It was fun.
That's awesome. Do you have any advice that you want to give to anybody that's getting into the film industry that's just starting out, that wants to move out here, that wants to go to New York and do Broadway, theater, any of that? You can direct it to them. Okay.
Well, I didn't mean to come to LA. That was kind of the road not taken. But I think that you need to, in an artistic career, accept that a lot of your life is going to be the road not taken. And once I got to LA, obviously, things didn't really go the way I expected it to. But the best advice I can give you is believe in your craft, believe in yourself, practice, learn. really be observant of the world around you and don't judge. I mean, I don't know. I mean, sure, I want to be in, you know, the next John Wick movie and be the female lead and make a gazillion dollars. Everybody wants to be in those films. And maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. But as an artist, accept the lifestyle of being an artist. And if you end up indie or in commercials or television or even theater, but I would suggest that in New York, it's okay. Because the dream is okay just to be the artist and see where it goes. And I think if you hold on to that and believe in that, I think great things happen and unexpected things happen. And then you look back on your life and you're like, wow, I'm kind of awesome.
That's very well said.
Thank you.
Very well said. I hope to work with you someday in the future. I know that we worked on the Impact event, and I don't think we were in any scenes directly because we were kind of playing hide and seek in that haunted house.
I know.
Right? You kind of came out of nowhere, and I think my character was already gone by then.
Yeah, and hence how I was like, do we know each other? But now that I realize that we do know each other, I realize I have tons of pictures of you that I shot. Document everything. I know everybody's doing that just because of social media, but again, like, this career is so up and down. I say take as many pictures as you can with people you work with, people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just, you never know where they're going to go. You never know who's going to be your best friend. And also the memories of just doing some of this. Like, I've done some really cool things and not gotten killed. But again, that job, Impact Event, was one of my favorite movies I've ever shot. So
that's awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun working on it too, and even though we had a lot of heat, it actually helped my character out in a way.
It helped,
you know,
my ego out. I told him, and this is from a female perspective completely, it was hot. Like, next level.
It was like over 100 degrees, wasn't it?
Over it. Yeah, over. And it's like, it was crazy hot. But to those of my ladies who love Bikram and who love to, like, you know, work out before they do their job, it was great because it, like, all the, like, sweating made my skin look really nice. It's crazy, but it was fabulous. So for him, maybe not so great. Me, I was like, wow. All right, I'll do a running scene.
Lovely. Very lovely. So links to all your things will be down in the description below. You have a lot of links?
I mean, Instagram, Facebook. Did you want me to say them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Tasha Tacosa on Facebook. I also have an Instagram called This Girl's Life, which basically, if you're interested in seeing all the crazy, unexpected things I do, that's the place to do it. We have Giantess Attack for the film, which I'm super excited. And yeah, I think for Instagram, that's it. And Twitter, Tasha Tacosa. I don't check that as much, so don't take that personally if I don't get back. But Instagram, I'm usually always on.
So that wraps it up for today.
Okay.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming out.
No problem.
Please support Tasha in her career. Check out all the links in the description below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the notification bell below for more interviews, more food reviews, all the good stuff coming up. This is Hans signing out, and Tasha.
Bye.
Bye.